Okay, hello and welcome to this sprint demo of Kiali. It's the end of the fourth sprint today, and we have three presenters. First Kaina, then Lucas, and then Guilherme. So Kaina, please start. Oh, now he left the call. So we changed the order. Lucas, why don't you start?
Sure. Let me to share my screen. Hello, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, you can see it.
Okay, thank you. So in this sprint, we have worked in several topics. One of the topics is to improve the UI experience between the graph and the services. One of the new features that we have, or the improvement that we implemented, is that now, for example, we can select here duration of the graph to take the rates of the last 5 minutes for this namespace, for the book info namespace, and to collect the graph. If we browse to the services and we enter in the reviews and we try to get the metrics, we will see that the duration is synchronized. So we have the same experience, just accessing to all the views of the information. This is one. Another minor UI and improvements were just to try to refine all the components, just to align the same look and feel between the pages. A new feature that we implemented on this sprint was also to introduce in the services some improvements in how to collect the health, the observability of the health of the services. So we introduced the health in the past sprint as something that we want to check between the pods that are running in my system, plus combined with information that we get from the metrics, okay, if we have some kind of errors. Now in this sprint, what we did was aim this information with how is the status of the sidecar, what we call here the envoyed health. And also we will detail this info. Oh, sorry. Oops, some technical flaw. Okay, we will improve this info here with more details of what are the pods, how are my pods, how are my sidecars with the involved health information coming from the sidecars, and also how is the rate for these metrics. A new feature that we introduced in this sprint is also that we are supporting Istio 071 and forward. And starting with Istio 071, we have two new types of objects in the routing API of Istio, which is called the routing API version 1, alpha 1, and version 1, alpha 3. Basically, we have route rules and destination policies in the old way, and also we have virtual services and destination rules in the new way. So a user in the Istio 071 can work with both. So let's just create some routes here, and let's do some destination policies, and also we are going to create some SAMPs looking for in the new way, route rules, reviews, all, sorry, all version 1. Okay, and now we can see that, for example, for services, we can check the route rules that we have in the past versions, and we can work with destination policies and also with the new objects, okay? Because it's something that we can do for a user. We can work with whatever objects. Now we can see here the virtual services and also the destination rules. So another improvement, another feature that we introduced in this sprint is that we can click into the detail of the Istio object, and we can also view this one with in the YAML format with a proper editor. Okay, well, we can enter here, and we can click in the destination policy, and also in the reviews, or for example in the destination rules. So this is what we introduced in this sprint, and all of these features are going to be improved for the following sprint with more add value feature like validation of configuration with notification, with some of these configuration are not properly defined in order to give this value to the user. Okay. Also, we can check in the mixed rules. We can also to see all the Istio mixer rules with the editor, okay, within YAML format. And if we, for example, we create new mixer rule like what, let's example info the mixer rules. For example, let's create some things like limit. We have created some objects on quota, and if we're here, we see, okay, I create here my quota, and then I can check the details in the quota with the editor with more clear way. Okay. I guess that is for this sprint. So that's it from me.
Okay, thank you, Lucas. I don't think Gaina has joined again, so Guilherme, you would be the next.
Yes. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so this is a new feature that was introduced on this sprint about creating multiple Kialis, and we are testing
a little bit? Can you enlarge it a little bit so we can see it?
Okay, just
looks like you've got a fairly
better?
Big monitor.
Yeah. Okay, so this feature allows to run multiple Kialis at the same OpenShift cluster. So I'm going to show you how this works. Okay, so I have here the two versions of Kiali. This is the old one, and this is the new one with the new UI improvements. As you may see here, the information is the same, the numbers. So here you can see that it's possible now. It's possible to run multiple Kialis at the same OpenShift cluster. So for another test mesh that we have here, going to be to see the difference between the versions and UI improvements, and also on Istio system, both Kialis are being detected as Kiali Alpha, as you may see here, and Kiali Master, which is the latest Kiali from master branch. So this is everything for me. I mean, just a quick demo showing how it's possible to run multiple Kialis at the same cluster.
Okay, cool. We did that so that it's now possible also in a QE, but also develop a scenario that you could run master and develop on master, or run a version like the previous sprint version, and then run in a branch. When you develop in a branch, run this instance of Kiali in parallel, so that you don't need to constantly uninstall and reinstall to compare these things. But as Guilherme just showed, that you can do that in parallel. and I hope that QE can also make use of this going forward in testing pull requests on one cluster so that they can have multiple versions there in parallel, like we have many different pull requests also in parallel. Okay, so let's check if Kaina is back. No, so I think Matt is then the next one to take over.
Yep. I can take over for the presentation right now. So let me
Thank you,
share my
Matt.
screen. I'm assuming everyone can see this now. So this is our service graph view. One of the big things people might notice here is that the UI has changed a little bit. So in previous versions, we had kind of this yellowish view, and we got some feedback that that was not necessarily the greatest view to have in here. So we made some changes. The lines and such are a little bit thinner. Now you can see that we have a blue view instead of a yellow one, and you can go through and click on things with this and see the new updates. Something else you might have noticed in my screen right now is that I'm not showing the requests per second going across the edge connections. And we have up at the top now a toggle switch to allow you to do that. So if you want to see the request per second going across all of your connections between your services, you can click on the edge labels and that will toggle on and off. We also have it for the node labels if you don't want to see that. The main emphasis here, though, for why we want to have these toggles is if you have something as such as a large service graph and you're really kind of looking for things like the red connections between your services, or you're finding the display is a little bit too busy and you want to turn things off to get a more simplified view of things. So that's one of the things that we've changed with our UI. Something else that you might notice on the side is that we have now a OK showing up. Oh, sorry. Showing up on the side panel with the metrics. So before we just had the total amount, the 300, the 400, and the 500, but we were neglecting what the actual 200 responses were, or the OK responses that we get back. So now we have that being displayed on the side panel. We now have support for routing rules to be displayed in the graph. So we have this new little icon that will show up beside your service if it has a routing rule applied. And there's also a toggle if you don't want to see that. The same way that we have for the circuit breakers, you can turn that off and on. And that allows you to see as much detail you want on the service graph, or scale it back if you want a more simplified view. Also, when we click on a service, you can see on the side panel that we now have an indicator that it has a routing rule. So say that we turned off the routing rule on the graph itself. If you still click on a service, it will show up. Same thing for the circuit breaker. It's not being shown on the graph, but if you click on the service, it will show up on the side. Yeah. So something else that we've changed, if you go into the detail view for the service, we now on the metrics page also have a manual refresh button that we did not have before. So you can turn off the polling interval to pause it, and if you want to manually refresh it, you can. If you have this set up as a 5 minutes and you don't wait to 5 minutes to the next one, you want to manually refresh it, that button will give you the option. Another change that we've done to the service graph is in previous versions, we would list on the version services both the service name and the version. We've removed that, and now the service itself only has the version listed inside of the service circle, whereas the box that represents the the overall services now has just has the product name. So we're no longer duplicating both the service name on the side of the box as well as in the box. So that's another change that we've had in there. And I'm just checking my list. I think that is the main ones that we've had. We've done some other kind of minor fixes and improvements to the UI In the past, if people have noticed, when you have only a single node, usually it's a giant node that appears on your screen and takes up most of the service graph display. We've now changed that so that it's smaller. And that should be it for the demo. Did I forget anything from the team? I'll take that as a no. So that concludes the demonstration from our side. Thanks.
Okay, thank you to the presenters. I think we're done. I'll stop the recording. And if you have questions, we can ask now or after I've stopped that. Okay, I'll stop it.